Oh, I grew up, came from a family of 7 children. I had uh, 5 sisters, and 4 sisters and 2 brothers. My oldest sister, Justine, and Liz, and Jean, Harriet, and myself. And I had 2 brothers, Earl and John. Okay.
Where did you live?
We were in Frederick, Maryland, and it was a street called East Street, and that's where was segregated. So all black people lived on that street.
Okay.
And my grandparents lived on that same street, and we lived on one side of the street, and my grandparents lived maybe 4 houses on the other side of the street up. And they had a very nice house. We had a 2-bedroom house that was...
How many people stayed there?
Was 3 of us girls, as I can remember growing up with 3 girls, and my father and mother. And my brothers lived with my grandparents. They had a real nice house. I think it was 4-bedroom, the house they had. Yeah, and they had a big backyard. Everything was really nice there. And
one house didn't have a shower or something, right?
my house, but my parents' house didn't. But my grandparents had a bathtub and shower and all that stuff.
So you'd have to go there.
We'd go there, take our clothes, and walk up the street and go there and take showers.
There you go.
But they had a nice big backyard too. And then the boys, I think my brothers, the house we lived in, only 2 bedrooms, so my brothers lived with my grandparents' house.
Right.
Yeah.
How old were you when you went to live with your sister?
About 12 or 13, something like that. And I went to live with her and her families too. After the grandparents had all died, and they took the house over. My sister and her husband. My sister was like 16, and she married a man that was 26.
Which sister?
Liz. And she, that 10 years difference, And she had 4 children, 5 children, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went to live with them, and I had a room of my own, because that was grandparents' house, so grandparents' house was better than the other house that we lived in.
How was it when you were living with your parents, though? What was that like?
Awful.
Why?
Because my father would get drunk once a month or something, and just cuss and carry on. So,
and what would you guys do when he was drunk?
We had to go to bed, and that was in the daytime too. And when everybody else was out playing and having a good time outside,
you had to hide.
We had to go in the bedroom, and we'd peeping out the window, watching everybody else out in the street play.
What? One time when he was drunk, he shot your mother, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did that, and shot her. And we were in school, and the family got us out of school, 3 girls, because those 3 girls was in school, and they took us to the hospital to see our mother, but we thought she was going to die, but she made it. And then because he was drinking, then he's so sad that he did such a terrible thing, and it was terrible. But then he was forgiven, and
your mom was strong then.
You haven't heard it yet. We drank again, and he's nasty when he was drinking, and so she put a pot of water on the stove, and it had it boiling, and when he came after that time, you know what happened to him?
She got him with the water.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And nothing never happened again after that. She got him with the water.
Not. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's right, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got him with the water.
Goodness.
And he was burned all over, scalded. Yeah. But that took care of it. Yeah, that took care of it. And then he stopped drinking.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he stopped drinking now. It was horrible, listening to him cuss and carry on. I don't know what that was for, but, but I don't know.
And then you went to live with your sister.
Yeah, I went to live with my sister, and it was good living there with her, helping her take care of her children, and it was it was a friendship, sister, you know, and I helped with the kids and help clean and do all that stuff. And
what were you like as a child? Just the same?
Just the same. They said they called me Echo because I would tell everything that was going on. That's I don't know, that was the right thing to do.
You're always frugal, right?
Oh, yes. And I had a little notebook, and I kept money, and they always wanted, when they needed money, they wanted to ask me for it, and I had my book to write in the book and loan people money, but they give me back double. Yeah, so that was being done at that time.
Those high interest rates,
yeah.
man.
I didn't do it. They did it. They did it on their own, you know. But I always held on to my money. And grown-ups would want money, and I'd lend it to them.
There you go.
Yeah, and they didn't mind that because they wanted to buy drinks, and they didn't have. But that little notepad I had, notebook, names down. That was I don't know where I learned that from.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. What was it like growing up in the segregation and all that?
I didn't find it. I don't know. We were separated, but the people that lived, white people lived the blocks from us. They was always kind to us, and we had to pass their houses and go to church, and they was always nice to us. When they didn't go to church, but we were all dressed so nice and walked to our church, and we live like we live here. Mm-hmm. You know, this is our home. You know, and that's what it was there. We had our home. We'd go to church, come back, and be around family. You know, and then the people were nice. As you go to church, we'd go through the streets where white people lived, and they would always be speaking and nice to us. So, you know, it was segregation, but they didn't treat us bad.
What was it like though when you went in public? Like you went to the movies?
Oh, you want to hear that? When we go to the movies and we up and down. You've heard movies where the movie theater where white people sit at the bottom and the black people at the top.
Yep.
Well, then we had the best seats because the screen you could see it real good. But then when the guys would pee on the people.
Oh my gosh!
To pee on the people down there and throw food down and stuff at them, and they couldn't do anything because they didn't know who did it. Yeah.
And you're up.
Yeah, up high. So we had the best seats, and they was too dumb to realize it. You know?
That's so funny.
Segregation.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was, and the guys would do that. And I know then it ended. So then when it ended, well, you still wanted to set up there because we knew segregation. You know,
yeah.
You still wanted to. We couldn't figure it out because we had the best seats. They sit at the bottom and they screened it, but we sat up the top and we saw it. You know, I don't understand. I didn't understand it. But your father's funny too because he would go to the movie theater and God, my father had a chest where he saved the money in, and his money. It was locked, but A.T. picked the lock and took all his money out of it and went to the movie theater, and we found out, the money's gone. So we went to the movie theater and looked for him. He had a bicycle there, and the money's hanging onto the bicycle in a paper bag.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we were so fortunate that we got there to get that money because he went on the movies.
How much money was it?
Oh, I don't know. My father saved a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I guess that's where you got it from, huh? He would save money.
That was something. And so we got the money and took it back home. Yeah, he was tripped.
How old are you when you met Granddad?
Oh, I was 21, 20 years old. We were church thumpers. We went to church every Sunday. We went to church every Sunday. We went to church on every Wednesday. Whenever church was Sunday.
That was you and Granddad from the time you were...
No,
when you were growing up.
This is when I was growing up. My family, my father and mother.
Okay.
Yeah, we were really...
always going to church.
Oh, yeah, church was our life.
Whenever they're having a service.
Yeah, well, that was our life, church, yeah. And you wouldn't believe it because my father drank and stuff, but he'd go on those benches and he'd do that. But then when he was done with that...
He was done.
Yeah, he was done. He was a deacon in church.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so, I don't know, but then But the church didn't know about that. I don't think we knew about it. But then as he got older, then he stopped drinking so much. But he was a head waiter at a hotel, so he was, he had some class to him.
That's good.
Yeah.
What'd your mother do? She stayed home with.
She's a homemaker. Yeah, and she used to work at a laundry, and she when that laundry closed, then there's people that wanted laundry done, like shirts and stuff, white shirts, and she did that from home.
Okay.
So so she made money doing that. Yeah, so that was her life, but I don't know. Yeah.
That's good.
And we'd go there, dance and drink, and they had a army base in Frederick called Fort Detrick, and the soldiers would come into the place there and drink and dance and stuff, and that's how I met Ellie at the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we'd go there I think it's Friday and Saturday night. You go there to dance.
Oh.
And sit and drink and talk with people.
And he asked you to dance?
Well, I probably so, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, probably did, yeah. Yeah, because it was fun, yeah. And then
How long were you together before you got married?
maybe 2 months. It wasn't that a long time.
And then you got married. And...
Yeah, it wasn't a long time. Because I wasn't going to be used, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Where did you live after you got married?
We lived with, we lived in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Yeah, we went there to live. And we lived in this rooming house. The lady had a house, and she rented rooms out. And he worked at Washington Hospital Center. It's a hospital there. And we worked there. And I worked at People's Drug Store in D.C. I worked in Frederick, and I transferred for the job in Frederick to work down there. And
what'd you do at that job?
A service counter. It's drugstore. They had service counter where you can get a Coke or coffee or something and eat.
Okay.
You've seen them doing it.
Well, they don't have them now. Now we have Walgreens, so it's different.
Yeah, but it used to be where they have counters in there where you go to a drugstore and you could sit down and you can eat, and the store would be there. And they'd say,
Oh, like on It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't know what wonderful.
Yeah, exactly like
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's an old Christmas movie.
you go there and sit and I served the food. Yeah, we did it for a year.
That's how long you guys were in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I when I got pregnant and I wanted to go home, and so then
You went back to Frederick, or you went to Lexington?
back to Frederick.
Because he's from Lexington, right?
Yeah. And we went back to my sister's house, and then we lived there for a little while, put it in for apartment, public housing,
Okay.
and we didn't take long before we got public housing. Yeah, and then my father had a cousin called Cousin Dan, and he helped us move, but we didn't have a car. We was moving some of our stuff, personal stuff, in a wagon. It was like about 5-6 blocks from where we were. Yeah, that was fun, and he helped us. Then we got an apartment, and we got furniture. It was a 2-bedroom apartment called Lincoln Apartments, and at that time they would 3-bedroom rooms for, I don't know, it wasn't much money, like maybe $500 to get 3-bedroom, and it was nice. It
was 3 bedrooms, so it was you and Granddad and Uncle Dion and my dad?
No, it was AT and me. I mean, AT and Uncle Dion, that's all it was. So we got a 2-bedroom apartment.
And what about you and Granddad?
We had a 2-bedroom. We had one and they had the other.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That it was you and Granddad and
Uncle
Dion and my dad. They were all...
we had in 2-bed. It was a kitchen, living room, and 2-bedroom bathroom. Yeah, we lived in that for. It wasn't a long time. It was like, God, it was like 6 months or 7 months or something, and I found a house,
Oh.
and we moved in this house, 3-bedroom house, yeah, and that was something because it was in the area where black people didn't live, and we got that, yeah, and we it was
Nice part of town.
well, it was kind of the same part, but it was all white people on that street.
And then
know.
you.
And yeah, that meant I was breaking the rules all the time. Yeah.
And what were you doing for work then? You were staying at home, or?
I was at home. Yeah, I was staying at home.
And what did Granddad do?
He worked at a tire company, and a water plant, and a tire. One time at the water plant, and then the tire company.
You both worked for a hotel or something too, right?
Yeah, well, we did that. We worked at the hotel for a while. That was when we were in the apartments.
Oh,
we
okay.
worked. My father was head waiter at the Francis Scott Key Hotel, and so we worked there, serving lunch and parties and dinner.
And you guys fold napkins together?
Yeah. Oh, he was on us all the time. We was always standing around talking to each other, and my father would always be on us. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah.
And then you lived in that house,
Yeah,
and
then what I do? Oh, then we decided that. Oh, I know Ellie didn't decide a thing because I decided that I wanted to get out of that house because it was hard to heat. It was a coal furnace, and you really had to do. I wanted a furnace like you have here now, but it was a coal furnace, and so I went and we moved to another house. Then we had gas. And that one wasn't good either. We lived in that house. Oh, yeah. Gas stove. You know how you have a stove?
you're right in the middle of the living room or whatever?
In a dining room, yeah. And then I was just sick of that. And what I do, we had some friends that built a house in the country. And I've got all the information from them. And
How old were you at this time?
Probably early 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, the early 30s, because Liz was still living there. Yeah. So then I needed $1,000. That's all I had to do, to put $1,000 down, and I could get my house going. And I went to my father, and he gave me that $1,000. And then we had a house built.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a nice house, too. And we lived in it maybe a year, if that. Because then IBM says I've been moved.
But wait. You got to tell us more about,
But
living in Maryland before you moved out here.
oh, we only lived in that house for a year. It was a brand new house.
And then you moved.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know.
And all your siblings were still living at this time?
Only one was, yeah,
Who had passed?
Liz.
What had happened?
She got hit by the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh, 33. Yeah. But I think I did the most of growing out of my family, going out of there doing things that,
Right.
But my father gave me that money to put down $1,000 down, and I put it down, and we moved in the house, and then a year later.
How old were you when you came to Colorado?
About 35.
Okay, so wow.
Yeah.
And so
We left the house and moved in the apartment.
So you beat up a little boy when you were a little girl, though.
Well, it was segregation, and they was always, the white boys, people, especially boys, was bad to us, and I guess we just beat them up and took care, Harriet and Jean and I guess we, we took care of it. Well, when we would leave our house, we lived here, and we'd have to go through the area to go to the church, and so then that's how we see these people, and so then we took care of them,
You took care of them.
Oh yeah.
What about one time you told me a story about somebody lost their arm in a car when they were riding in a car?
That was after I grew up.
What happened?
And it was with friends, some boys traveled. Well, it was some people we knew. We were in a car and they was traveling to. They were riding around the city or something, and he had his arm popped out the car. You know, like driving, and they had came under. They had a wreck and hit a culvert, and it cut his arm off, and so he bled to death. But they said, and he was a teenager. These teenage black boys riding around. What they should have done was just peed on the ground and got mud, you know, made and paste to stop him from bleeding. But he bled to death. Yeah. But our life was spent at church. We grew up. My father was a deacon in the church, and we grew to church like Sunday, and he went on Monday, and we went on Wednesday. And then maybe children's where children met on Thursday. Mm-hmm. But our life was spent in church. That's why I could go to church here, because that's how growing up was. But
you know, what was it like with your siblings? What were each of your siblings like?
we didn't live all together, so.
But you still knew them. What were they like? So go one by one, each sibling.
Okay, my older sister, she grew up. She left house. Pretty little girl. She left home. Justine left home when I was young, and so she moved to New York, and when she was really young and started a family. Liz, she lived up the street. That's who I went to live with. My brother John, he's got married and 2 babies or something. He's 16 years old, and he lived across the street from us. Earl lived up with my grandparents, and he didn't have any children. He was a
bachelor.
Bachelor, like Dion. Yeah. And Harriet went to Morgan State College, and when she graduated from school, and then Jean went off to New York. Jean was before Harriet, but Jean went off to New York. Then Harriet.
Did you tell about Teen?
Teen went to New York, and then she went to Boston. Teen was the oldest sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She went to Boston. So there was Teen who wanted to go to Boston, and Liz had her children. Liz 16, married somebody 26 years old.
What did her last name become?
Brown.
And then what did all of their last names become? So we can keep track. So
Teen was a Sneed.
Okay.
Liz became a Brown. John had his family.
He would be a Palmer.
Yeah.
Harriet.
Jean had 3 or 4 children, but she never married.
Okay.
Harriet was Palmer. She had 1 child, Rodney, and it was me.
Okay. You were close with some of your nieces and nephews, though, because they're close in age, right? What about Aunt Judy?
Oh, Judy was Teen's daughter, and my mother raised Judy.
And what was the age difference there?
Judy, maybe 4 or 5 years.
So you guys were close, though.
Yeah, we were close, yeah. But she was closest to my age, yeah.
Nice. And then when you went to live with your sister, what kids lived there?
Hi.
What were their names, though?
There was Jimmy and Michael and Reese and Wendell and Angie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you lived with them while they were growing up for a while?
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I got married and moved
So you got married.
That was my family. Ask me another one, that's better. But your church was the main thing, though.
Sorry.
Yes. I sang in the women's choir.
Oh.
Yeah. And we wore black dresses, and so to make it look nice, I made little corsages with yellow.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what I was really into that when we moved out here. It really was hurting to leave that.
Leave the church?
Yeah. But when we came out here, I was not coming. I would not leave my job and the president of my company. Come here, I want to talk to you. And he told me,
you need to go.
Yeah, I need to go. Yeah, this is what you said. You need to go. That's
what was your pastor's name back in Maryland?
Reverend Williamson.
Oh, okay.
But he told me I needed to go with my husband because I wasn't going to go. And so, those people were kind to me. They were good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
then you weren't going to go.
And we came out here and we came on a house hunting trip and saw that. And
you gave birth to 3 boys when you were 20, 23, and 32. What were those experiences like?
Oh my God.
What happened?
I think giving birth, it's supposed to be a blessed time, but I think that's a hard time.
What happened?
Well, I just don't know, but I mean, giving birth is just something else. And that's just.
You said they just put you to sleep or something?
Yeah, they put you to sleep, yeah. So I needed to go to sleep too. Y'all don't go to sleep now, do you?
No.
Oh God, I needed that.
They only do it in extreme circumstances, I think, but...
Wonder why they didn't know. I guess they didn't know that, did it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And then you had to stay in the hospital for 2 or 3 days.
That's still normal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
What you said you were so tired you just laid Uncle Waylon on the bed
and just took a little nap.
Who came and visited you in the hospital? Was anybody with you?
No, I don't remember somebody visiting now.
Was a granddad wasn't sorry.
I remember where he was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Something was going on.
And then
Because
you said Aunt Liz came?
He was working somewhere because Uncle Jim had to take me to the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, like he was working in another state or something like that time.
And then Aunt Liz came and visited you, though?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I have some questions. Were your parents born free?
Yes.
They were free. And what about your grandparents?
I don't know, but because I think so because they had a nice, my grandmother.
They had a nice house.
Yeah, they had a nice home, and that's where we lived with, you know. They were born in Walkersville, Maryland, and I think my grandmother had some sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures up there, back there, and then she met my grandfather, and
Was Maryland a free state back then, you think?
I think so, and where they lived was one of the better homes on the street.
Wow.
So
Did they ever talk to you about, like...
No. See, I was just about 6 or 7 years old.
When they passed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My grandmother was, I think, 82.
Because you were the youngest of 7.
Yeah, And my grandfather, I think he went to bed and never woke up.
Oh.
Yeah. And seeing my grandmother, I think I was like about 5 or 6 years old when my grandfather died, or maybe that was when my grandmother died. I was 5 or 6, and I don't remember going to my grandfather's funeral, but I remember my grandfather. He had a car, and he had a, you 2 people ride in the front here, and then in the back you got this like a trunk and pulls back like this.
Oh.
And you can sit back there.
So that's an old car.
Yeah, and you sit back there and ride like that. Yeah, they were, I think, pretty well off compared to the other people around.
Wow.
Maryland was what they call a border state. It was a slave state that stayed in the Union.
Okay. When were people...
I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
Let me do some more reading.
Thomas is going to do research for us.
But
So-
he would take us riding on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
We could get in the car and back in the back. They call it a bucket seat or something back there.
Right.
Yeah, and he'd take us riding all over the roads, and he'd go woo. He's a good grandfather.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, I wish they could remember.
What were your aunts and uncles like? Who were they? What were their names?
Well, my mother had a sister named Nellie, and a brother named Cliff, and a brother named Uncle John. And Uncle John and Nellie lived in New York. They had moved away from family, moved to New York, and Cliff lived at the family home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Uncle John and Nellie and them, they used to come home once a year to visit all the family. It was a big time when they had there. But that house was one of the best, I think maybe the best house on the street.
Your grandparents' house?
Grandparents' house, yeah. and he had a big backyard.
Oh.
And when everybody came, you know, everybody was in the yard.
So they abolished slavery just prior to the end of the Civil War.
Okay. So, with your, what about your father's?
I didn't know I only knew my father's sister.
What was her name?
Aunt May.
Okay.
And she had a daughter that was named Anna May. And
Is that where your name came from?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Anna May. And Anna May had a daughter named Bertha May. And they moved to Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and now we...
That's actually the old stadium too.
Yeah, no, I know.
We have a birth...
Back in the day.
Anna May took one of Jean's... Anna May Jean had a daughter named... I don't know what Bertha May... A.T.?
Yes.
What's Jean's daughter named Yolanda. Yeah.
in Philly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anna May took one of Jean's children and raised her, and she lives in Philadelphia now. Yeah. Sometimes she calls
Yolanda?
Yolanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then your mother's family, so you were closer to your mom's side of the family.
Well, it wasn't really because they all moved
The
to New
Summers.
York. Yeah, Summers, but they moved to New York like when I was younger, and so they would come home to visit. Then after a while, they stopped coming to visit.
So they were getting older?
Got older. Everybody got older. And stuff. I think they have some children there now that like you guys or relatives, but didn't keep contact.
Little girl. So, you don't know much about your dad's side of the family?
He had a brother named Uncle Vet, I said.
No, you didn't say.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Vet.
Uncle Vet, Yeah.
And then...
And Aunt May, and that's my father's sister, and she gone a long time ago.
And that's it?
Yeah.
And so your grandparents were your mom's parents? The ones who lived down the street in the summers?
See, I'm like...
What were your grandparents' names? Mary
Elizabeth Summers
and Charles?
John Summers.
John Summers.
And we called them Pop and Mom.
Pop and Mom. And then your parents were Hattie and Bookie. Where did those names come from? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
They were just always called that?
That's all we knew, yeah.
But your parents' names were?
Harriet and Charles.
Harriet and Charles. So you don't know, you were young when your grandparents died.
Yeah, I was like 7.
And then Liz took over the house, and then you went and...
I was 7 years old or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. My grandfather used to take us out in his car, and he
in the bucket seat.
Yeah, in the back where you said.
And would you have any memories with your grandmother?
I remember her just being in a wheelchair at the house, and my mother had to take care of her, and it was something. But I do remember her when we get out just fighting out in the street and with the kids, and she gave us a razor blade one time, and
to get them?
Yeah, to defend ourselves.
Wow.
So that ended that.
All right.
That ended
They
that.
said no more of that. Okay.
Yeah, she gave us ammunition. You need this here. You take this, and and then they wouldn't have to fight. We didn't have to fight anymore.
What were your aunts and uncles like?
One uncle lived there, and
Uncle Cliff.
Yeah, he was a quiet person. He just didn't talk much. And my father's brother was Uncle Pet. Uncle Pet gets drunk all the time. Got drunk all the time.
Alcoholism really ran in the family because
my father.
Your father did too. Nice. So you moved to Colorado when you were in your early 30s.
31 years old.
Why did you move here?
IBM moved us here.
You couldn't have been 31 because you had Uncle Waylon at 32, and he was, you said...
Oh, no, he was about 5 years old.
When you moved here.
Yeah. So he was about 36 years old.
Yeah.
What was that?
And you moved here because Granddad got transferred from...
Transferred by IBM out here.
And you didn't want to go, and you came, and... Where did you stay when you first moved here?
we lived in an apartment in
This the one you gave?
Boulder.
And did you stay at home? Or you worked?
I worked. I got a job right after I worked. I worked with some. I've forgotten. It was a company in Boulder I worked for, in the city of Boulder, and I don't know. And then I found a job that was about a mile from my house.
What were you doing?
Data entry.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got the job with then I transferred. Quit that job in Boulder and got a job closer to my apartment, and I was a computer operator there. And then I became the supervisor of that apartment.
And you lived in that apartment for not long, and then what happened?
And when I was talking, well, we lived in an apartment, and Ellie had Waylon in the bedroom playing with him, and a knock came on my apartment door, and this man knocked me out of the way and went back into my bedroom, and he was cleaning his gun, and his gun went off, and it shot through over to us, and Ellie and Waylon was back on the bed playing, but nobody got hit. But that's why the man just moved me and came on in my house, and I see that's why, because he was cleaning his gun and it went off, and but it didn't hit anybody. So.
He was checking to make sure everybody was okay.
Yeah, and we didn't turn him in or nothing. Because he was that concerned. And then right then we started looking for a place.
And then how did you find this place? Who?
Oh, I was talking about it at my job I had, and this girl was there. She said, "Oh, well, we have a place we want to sell." Yeah, is what she said. And that's what she told me.
Remember, how did you?
We had Ellie had what's Army stuff? When you
like a check or whatever.
AT.
Yes.
What's the Army stuff when you want to get
VA loan?
VA loan.
Okay. How did you get this house though? Because this is this neighborhood and everything. How'd you get over here?
That's what the girl at work on my job told me that they have a house that want to sell, and so then I told Ellie, and we came over to look at it, and she said that my father's a realtor, and so we met over here, and at a table in that dining room, and he said he can do it all.
Because you were looking in other parts of the town, right?
It wasn't good. Potbelly stoves. Yeah, it wasn't good. But it was like we were going back in history. I said, after I lived in a brand new house in Frederick, I wasn't moving in a potbelly stove in Colorado. And so her father came over here. They had a table in the dining room there, and we sat down and signed papers. And we kind of moved right on in.
Moved in. And you've been in this house ever since?
Yeah, what year was that?
1979? My dad says 78. Okay. February of 78, my dad said.
We had just built a house.
When you moved out here. So then you went to an apartment, and now you're in this house.
You ever heard of such?
What did you guys do for work? Granddad was working for IBM, and you were doing data entry, or?
I was a computer supervisor.
And then when did you stop doing that?
Well, they closed. They moved the company to New Jersey, and that was, I don't know, maybe 2 years after that.
And then what did you do for work after that?
I started my own business.
Oh, what was the business?
Data entry.
Okay.
And then I got a contract with IBM and the federal government, and I hired about 5 girls, and I rented a space and did that, and then IBM started the life change where you do everything in the computer, and you don't
typewriters.
Yeah, you don't do it. And so then that contract ended, and I still had the federal government contract, but I think I was kind of
tired
of that, yeah. And so I sold it to somebody, my business to somebody. I don't remember who I sold it to. And then I didn't work for a while, and then Ellie came home and said, you want to go to work or, because he was working for this company that did insurance, nursing homes.
He switched from IBM?
Yeah, he retired from IBM too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was working in the mailroom at this company, and then they did building for nursing homes, and so he said maybe want to do that, so I went and did that, and I went to that company and worked.
So that was in your 50s though, right?
No.
What company was that?
What?
The company, yeah.
Late 50s.
Yeah, that was your 50s. That was for America, right?
For America, yeah.
And you worked there for 20 years?
No, in for America.
Oh, what was it then?
What?
What was the company you went to?
I went to for America at the...
And you were there for like 20 years, right?
No, I went to for America for 20 years.
You started in your 50s, and you worked there till you were in your 70s.
I don't think so.
Grandma...
I didn't go nowhere else to work. So I did all the work there.
Yeah.
For America. I didn't know I was there that long.
You were there, I mean, maybe a little less than 20 years, but it was a long time. Okay, but...
Y'all was here when I...
That was a lot later, though. That was in your 50s. And
yeah.
What was it like raising your 3 children with Granddad?
I did everything.
What happened? What was it like, though?
It was tough. It was tough. And Dion helped me a lot. It was really something to deal with.
Deal with what?
That.
My dad? My dad was a bit of a trouble child, handful.
Handful adult too. Isn't that right, Cindy?
What happened as a child though? What were some of his escapades as a?
Oh no, I ain't going to do that.
just give a quick anecdote or two, Grandma.
When he took the mail truck and drove the mail truck.
How old was he when he did that?
I have no idea. I can't remember now. Yeah.
Took the mail.
Man, come get it. He said. I think he said he was 8. You was 8.
When you took the mail truck.
7.
Oh, 7.
He was.
I started at 7.
You started at 7.
No, you telling her about how you have to take Valium and all that?
No, we're just going over it.
Well, that's about the time she started taking Valium.
Wow.
Because I was making her red.
What was Uncle Dion like? He was
He was a caregiver, taker, huh, AT?
Yeah, he took care of me. Because they sent him to find me.
That's funny. And
he got tired. He said, I'm not going to go. I'm not the one that keep doing it. I'm going to eat. That's what I want to do. Eat.
What was Uncle Waylon like?
Good. Good child.
What was it like with him, though? What did he do? What was he into?
He did nothing.
He did sports, though, right?
Yeah, but he did things that was enjoyable to life. And we go to on Saturdays and go to, like we did with Brett. Mm-hmm. We go to, he was so enjoyable. It's football games, and he was something else. And he'd get that ball and take a ball and just leave him behind. He would always be leaving. He's there, and they way back there. And it was just, I was just laughing so hard, Christina. I would be laughing. It would just be, yeah. It would be so funny to see him, that the other kids would be here, and Waylon would be. Oh, you hear what she said, didn't you?
She's trying to tell me.
Yeah, well, it would be so funny. The other kids would be there, and Waylon would be up there. And I would just be laughing my head off. And I was trying to find a tape where we have a tape around here where you could hear all that stuff going, because we used to tape it. I don't know where to tape it. Maybe Waylon know where it was, but but Granddad didn't go to those things. Uncle Dion, not just like we go now. Mm-hmm. That's how we did for Waylon.
Granddad was reserved and kind of.
I don't know. He was in his own world.
So when you moved to Colorado, where'd you go to church? Because you said
I read the Bible, and they sent me tapes from the East Coast.
And how long did that go on?
For a year, until he told her he wasn't giving her no more to give to me, that I had to find a church.
And where did you go to church then? Nowhere?
Didn't go to church somewhere.
Until when?
Somebody, he knocked on the door one Saturday,
in the 90s, early 90s?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that was Pastor Sulian?
Uh-huh.
And what happened?
And I went to church. It was Ellie, and I was going to church without Ellie because Ellie and I was having problems then. And I was going, and me and I think it was I don't know, me and the girls. Samantha.
You and Tiana and...
Yeah. It was like 2 of us, and when it wound up, it was like 7 of us.
But at first it was just you.
At first, it was...
Just you? The first week?
No.
You and Tiana?
Yeah, maybe.
Because when he came here, he met you and Tiana, right?
Yeah, but I think Ellie went at that time, too.
The first time?
Yeah, I think so. But he was listening to everything, because him and I wasn't getting along too good together, because he wasn't doing, I don't know, whatever I wanted him to do. Yeah, so I was separating myself from him. Yeah. So I just had to separate and that's what I called it too. I had to separate myself from him so I could survive. That's what I said.
And then,
Yeah.
But then you guys started going to church.
Yeah, and he followed behind that Sunday because I wasn't. It was like 7 of us went to church that Sunday. Kim and Samantha, and who else?
Tiana and you and maybe Uncle Dion. I don't know.
I don't know. But, yeah.
So then you guys started getting involved in Hopewell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what did you guys do for the church?
What'd I do?
Yeah, you guys were real involved. What'd you do? Granddad was a deacon.
I wasn't there that long, and I was doing the Lord's Supper.
And you sing on the choir.
The choir, I was singing the choir, yeah. Just got involved, that's all.
Just threw yourself in there.
Yeah, I did. We did. We did. We helped him.
And you stayed involved and all that. And you're still doing the Lord's Supper.
Yeah, I'm going to give it up this week.
Well, that's been 20 plus years that you did it, so.
Yeah, I'm going to give it up this week as soon as I get to talk to him.
Let's see, you had a lot of people come in and out of your house throughout the years. Who has stayed in your home?
I had you and Jasmine here
From when I was about 5th grade on.
Who else been here?
Tiana stayed here for a while, right?
Yeah.
How old was she then?
Oh, Tiana was in like 1st grade.
And she stayed here for a year or what?
A year or something like that.
And then we moved in here. You had us.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Horrible.
It must have been a lot though, because you, when you moved out here initially, it was you and Granddad and Uncle Dion and my dad and Uncle Waylon and Arlene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how different was that from when me and Jasmine were in here growing up?
I don't know, because I wasn't responsible for anybody but Waylon at that time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you all became my friends, or not, or what, Grandmum.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did things like life, you know.
Just lived life.
But AT wasn't not doing well, and I spent a lot of time running to your house, Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we were little?
Yeah. Yeah. And he was not.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried to death.
Doesn't stop. So, what was it like with Aunt Arlene? I didn't ask. How was it raising her? How was she like?
She was okay for the short time but while she's here, but she.
Well, you always say when you started taking care of Arlene, you say on Arlene, you say you took her
out of the Maury clay.
That's what you always say.
I did.
Why did you start taking care of Aunt Arlene?
Because her mother was not taking care of her. Her mother was a druggie, and she was a little girl, and oh God, the roaches was just going crazy. Teresa was my friend, and I went there one day to check on her, and the roaches was just taking over the kitchen, and this little girl was on the stove trying to cook, you know, fix herself something to eat, and I just I just said, Teresa, I cannot let this girl stay here and do in this. And I just said, I have to take her. And that's how I got her. And she's laid up in a bed somewhere doing, where she's done drugs or something. And I just...
You just took her.
Yeah, I just took her, Yeah, and all I wanted to do, I can't see this little girl living like this. Even with her coming around now,
it hits you back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was, you have experienced probably more grief in your life than anyone I know. You've lost your parents and all your siblings. What was it like to go from that?
What?
To being having all these siblings and now...
And none?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's part of life. What? You say
So it's part of life.
Yeah, it is. It's even with Dion gone now. Oh, that's it. That's just what
Well, that one's hard. That one's fresh.
Yeah, but still, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's but I'm old enough to know that
That's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, what happens. But
What happened when your parents died? How old were you, or how old was your father when he passed?
My father was 76. My father had pancreatic cancer, and he went from nice to
I'm just sick.
Yeah, and he got real skinny, and then he wouldn't stay in the bed. He'd take all of his clothes off, and he'd come out the bedroom and be coming down the stairs and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And even when he died, he died leaving the bedroom, coming out that bedroom and laying there and dying,
Aww.
Yeah, so he was getting away from it, I guess. That was sad. My mother, I don't know.
She died a year later, right?
Yeah, with 1 year. Yeah.
A year and a day or something?
Yeah, something. And I didn't, they said it was a broken heart, but she was strong, and I don't know. But you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
That's a hard thing, though.
Oh, look at her. Yeah. But we had to...
And most of your siblings were alive until the past couple years, though. Right? You still had...
Oh, but...
You lost Liz when you were...
30 couple.
And then... What about Aunt Teen?
I can't remember when Teen died, but...
Were you in Colorado already?
Yeah. But did see that one? I was in Colorado. They called me and told me they were going to visit her. My brothers, 2 brothers, and Harriet. And I said, I'm going to go too. And so they had already made their, I think they drove there.
Because she was in New York?
And she was in Boston.
Oh, Boston.
And I so you all go in there. It's a picture in the bathroom of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's when so we went to visit her one time. But then they told me they were going, and so I said, okay. So I couldn't get, they drove there, and I was flying, but I didn't get into the next day. My plane, and then they got there, they went to visit her. And I think
she passed before you got there?
Yes, she passed before I got there. So they were already there. And I got there.
Was she sick?
She's in a nursing home, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she was sick, but they were just going to visit her, and she died. And here the next morning, if I'd known that, they was going to, I would have been there that day for. But
you can't know.
Yeah, and so I got in the next morning, and she died, and he picked me up at the airport. But we were all there for her. Yeah.
And then what about Aunt Teen? Was that Aunt Teen? What about Aunt Jean?
Oh, she died in Frederick. I don't. Yeah.
You were in Colorado?
Yeah, I was here in Colorado. I just had to go home to the funeral.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was.
And my
What
brother
is
John
DMD?
just died maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I didn't go for that.
And then Uncle Earl died,
He died when he was out walking. He was walking.
and he had they say it was an aneurysm,
Yeah.
and he didn't know about it.
Uh-huh.
And then because he had an aneurysm, somebody got checked or something, right? They had and somebody had found out they had an aneurysm too.
I don't know.
I remember you told me that. I don't know who. Maybe Aunt Judy or somebody.
But he was walking. Yeah.
And then
Yeah, he was walking and he passed out while he was walking, doing his morning walk.
and then what about Aunt Harriet?
Harriet had cancer, I think. Yeah, because she had tubes all running all through the house so she could get around the house. Yeah.
And that was
Yeah,
just
she knew
that wasn't that long ago either, right?
Maybe 3, 4 years, 5 years ago, or something like that. But Harriet,
You and Uncle John were the last ones, right?
Harriet didn't take care of herself. I mean, God, she was still taking shots when she was sick.
Shots of alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma, what advice would you give us and our kids, your grandchildren and our future children, and what advice would you give? We want your wisdom.
Serve the Lord. That's all.
Just that?
Just serve the Lord.
You don't have any advice about money? You're very frugal.
No, I don't. Money is
Okay, but I want advice about money and stuff too, Grandma. I want all your advice.
Well, I just hold on to it. That's all. I'm very frugal wherever you say it. You know, I don't waste it. You know, I don't get things that are unnecessary. I always hold on to something. So
Just in case.
yeah, I always hold on. I always hold on to something. And like Dion told me when I was working, he said, "Mom, you need to pay yourself." That's what he said.
Yeah.
And I was paying him when I was doing it because that's how I buried him.
What about
I still have money.
I know, but okay, what about like with kids and with family? What advice you have?
Just just give love. You know, because you received it.
But I gotta have it on tape, Grandma.
Oh,
You telling?
It's just give love, and it's not badgering and getting after and all that stuff. It's just being kind and loving to each other. You never got that from me.
Well, sometimes, but we needed it.
Well, when you needed it.
Yeah.
When
When I'm upset, if I'm crying about something, you say,
What I say?
"Well, nobody."
Nobody died. That's the way I feel. Because whenever you have that, God, that's a horrible. Especially when nobody's sick. You know.
Like this one.
Yeah, huh? What'd you say?
Like this one that just happened.
Like, yeah, nobody died. But, you know, I've experienced that.
I
I
know.
used to tell you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you still tell me that.
Yeah.
What else does Grandma tell us? We can have it on video of her saying. What if we want to learn how to do something?
You can do anything. All you have to know how to read and write. That's what it is. Huh?
Yeah.
Or when somebody would tell her something that she already knew, she'd go, "I have a brain and it works."
Oh yeah, that's your one, Grandma. What do you say?
Yeah, I have a brain and it works. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Every time when Pastor would say something to her,
Yeah.
get in the car or something, she'd be like, "I don't know why he told me that. I have a brain and it works."
Yeah.
That's your phrase. These are your catchphrases.
Oh, okay. I have a brain that works.
Yeah,
Which is true.
we know.
Yeah.
What do you think about your grandkids?
Oh, I done skipped over my grandchildren. I went to my great-grandchildren. That's what I did. Look at her. It's great to have extended family. Really, you know.
What about moving to Colorado?
I thought it was just the most horrible thing that happened to me. That's what I thought.
And then it turned out.
to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. It is really. Oh, I was just devastated.
Now you're glad.
Yeah. I didn't want to, but he said you have to go. We just built a new house.
Well, you've been building on this house since you moved here.
I know, but still, that was. Oh, this is a more solid brown because it's here. But that one's fresh. That was fresh though. It was a nice house, but it was fresh, and we hadn't did all the stuff around because I bought a chainsaw to cut all the bushes around. Oh, it was something.
What is your favorite memory growing up?
Going to meet my father when he got off from work. He worked like 5 blocks from our house, and all I had to do is walk down the street, and if I could see him down there, and he'd get off at 2:30 in the afternoon.
And you'd go meet him?
I'd go meet him, yeah. And we'd walk home together, and we'd walk and talk. That was nice, Yeah, I'm going to see, and she let me go. Yeah, when he drank, he was a devil. When he's terrible. Oh my!
But when he wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, best person. That was sad. Best person. Girl.
What about your favorite memory as an adult? Just everything.
Yeah, just everything. But the worst thing I just experienced in life was when my sister got hit by that car that Sunday night. And then it took a hour drive from our home to a major hospital. She got hit here and took her to Denver to a major hospital. Yeah, and then the man was drunk, and but they couldn't find the man, and now I don't know if they ever did find him, but they kind of knew who did this, but it was just a big write-up in the paper and all, What is nice having family here, which, is for support. All my family's gone, so you're still my family, and it's just great having y'all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I'm not alone. Even with Dion gone, I know I'm not alone. But, and that was... I'm old enough, mature enough to accept what has happened and don't think it don't hurt. Now, because I don't cry, it does hurt. And it's, oh, God. when everybody's going to be gone, I walked out in the yard today, and thinking about him and I. But this is what God does to us. Puts these things in your life, and you have to accept it. And I'm smart enough to do that. I accept it. I accept it. And it'll be me just getting all upset because it ain't gonna change. That's true.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change.
All right.
And I appreciate all y'all support.
Of course.
Oh, this is the way it is.
All right. And who's your favorite grandkid?
Me.
Me, Grandma. You're supposed to say Christina.
Look. Hey, Cindy. That's what she said.
I'm trying to sneak it in there. You say me, Christina. You say Christina.
Yeah.
Oh, Christina. That's what you mean to say. I know.
How you doing?
All right. I love you, Grandma.
I love you too.